So we now have our final coat of filler all set up on the plane here, guys. I'm gonna take my 300 grit sanding block and just go over those areas that we put the filler on. I just want to make one thing clear as I'm doing this to you guys. This prep stage is not a half an hour process like this video makes it seem. There's countless hours that I've actually done in between and before. So don't think you're going to get your model perfect quickly. This is a stage that actually scares off a lot of people, the finishing stage. It's fun to build up until here. And here you do a ton of work with not a lot of visual progress, I'm gonna call it. So it's not the most fun stage for a lot of people. I enjoy it because this is kind of what makes or breaks the plane at the end of the day. But just don't think it is a quick process here, guys. You can have countless hours into your prep work. The one thing with kits when you're building them, at the start they go nice and quick, you notice a lot of progress, but that last 10% of work can take 90% of the time on these kits. Really that prep and finishing stage, it's not a quick process by any means. Again here, just using the chicken stick in those fillet areas. So fast forward here through a couple minutes of sanding, and then we'll take you guys through the next step. So now we're all sanded up. The next step I'm gonna do on this airplane is actually go over all the sheeting with a top flight woodpecker. This puts small holes in the sheeting, which helps the gas escape when you're doing the covering, helps get a nicer finish with a little less struggle, I should say. So I'm gonna go over the whole airplane now with this. You just kind of roll it over and you can see you don't need a lot of pressure on it. This doesn't hurt the structure of the airplane in any way. They're not very deep holes. So I'm gonna go over the whole airplane with this method here. And again, we'll see you guys in a minute or two. So now I've gone over all of my solid sheeted areas with that woodpecker tool. I don't think you can actually get one of those anymore, but I know there's a similar tool that I think they use for sewing, if I remember correctly. So you can get something that will do a similar job. That is not a necessary step, but I do like how it works. I do find it helps out, especially when you're going monocoat over monocoat, but we'll see that later. The next step I'm gonna do here, guys, is I'm gonna use a sanding block. This has 500 grit sandpaper on it, so it's a very fine sandpaper, and I'm gonna go over the whole plane. After that, my last step is going to be sand the plane with 2000 wet dry sandpaper. That will give me my final finish, and I will do that one by hand, not with the sanding block. So what you're gonna see here for the next few minutes is first sand with the block and 500, and then we're gonna get into a light sand with 2000. So now we've sanded our plane there with the 500. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2000 on it, but we're really left even with a nice smooth surface after that. Would you have to go any more? I really don't think so personally. It's just something I like to do. But I think if you read the covering manual, they say something like 350 grit will be enough for a good finish. So this stage I'm about to do now is unnecessary, but it's a quick wipe down, I'll kind of call it, with 2000. Nothing too intense. The reason I'm doing this one by hand is just so I can get into all the small final spaces. It's not a heavy grit sandpaper, so I'm not really ripping away material. This is the one sandpaper I don't really worry about changing the shape of the airplane with. Okay guys, I'm gonna stop it there, and for the sake of the video, we're gonna call this a perfectly sanded airplane. I know there's still a few things I have to do, like this front sheeting here, which I'm gonna take care of. There's a few small dings that I'm still gonna address, as well as one of the fillets. But we're gonna pretend this airplane is now sanded exactly how we want it. So we're gonna go ahead and get it ready for that monocoat. You'll notice a lot of those holes we've put in the plane seem to have disappeared. And they definitely haven't disappeared, but they're clogged with dust. We want to give ourselves a nice smooth surface and remove as much of that dust as we can. What I do is I blow the whole plane off with a compressor, and then tack cloths are going to be your best friend. You don't have to use a compressor, but if you're not using a compressor, you're going to go through a lot more tack cloths. So I'm going to fill up my compressor and show you how we clean up this airplane. So we've got our compressor filled up and our blowgun on it here. We're going to blow off as much dust as we can here, guys. You'll notice those holes starting to come back instantly in the top of the fuselage. And we're just gonna blow off the whole plane. So you can see that really removes a lot of the dust, guys. For the sake of the video, I'm gonna say we're done even though I'm not. But this front section up here is completely blown off. The next step is take a tack cloth. You're gonna want a nice clean one. You're gonna go through a lot of these as well, so pick up a couple while you can. They're available at Home Depot or any store like that, normally in the paint section. Even though it looks clean, you're gonna notice when I wipe it down, a lot of dust is still gonna stick to this cloth. See, even after blowing it off, we're picking up a fair amount of dust on the airplane, so you want to make sure you get as much of that off as you can. Once you've done that over the whole airplane and you're satisfied that there's no dust on it, you're left with an airplane ready to cover. So guys, that was our expedited prep video series here. That is the basic stages of prepping your airplane, getting it ready to cover. Although there is a lot more time involved than what you see in this video. Do it to your liking. Not everything always has to be perfect. It depends how you want your airplane to look at the end of the day. You know what? I'm pretty happy with this one overall for what it is. It's not 100% perfect either, but like I said, right? Do it to your liking. I didn't build this kit, so I tried to get it as nice as I could in the final stages, but not everything's always perfect underneath. So guys, we're gonna see you soon for the starting of the covering on this airplane. As always, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. We're gonna see quite a bit over the winter here covering up this fuselage over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for the how-to on covering series.